What I know for sure is that every sunrise is like a new page, a chance to write ourselves and receive each day in all its glory. Each day is a wonder. A warm welcome and pleasant morning to all the dignitaries, teachers, staff, participants, and my dear students. We all are here today for the inaugural session of the 2-day national seminar, Folklores of India, Texts and Contexts, organized by the Department of English, Vasanta College for Women, Rajghat, under the aegis of Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav, sponsored by ICSSR, New Delhi. Before we begin the inaugural session, I humbly request the dignitaries to please come on the stage, light the lamp, and take their respective positions on the dais. All the dignitaries, please. Our keynote speaker, Anupama ma'am, my teacher, Sushila ma'am, my teacher, K.M. Pandey sir, principal of the college, Al-Qadi, and the convener of the seminar, Dr. Saurav Kumar Singh, to please come upstairs. Arogyam Dhan Sampada, Shatru Buddhi Vinashaya, Deep Jyoti Namostute. The faculties and students of Department of Music, Vasanta College for Women, Rajghat, to render the Kul Geet of our institution.
Vasanta
request member of Department of English to please come forward and give her welcome address.
Good morning, one and all. I consider myself privileged to be standing before you to welcome such an august gathering which have gathered here for this conference sponsored by ICSSR on Folklores of India Text and Context. It is a matter of pride and a privilege to welcome each one of you. I feel extremely happy to welcome my teacher, not only mine, I think many of us here who have been taught, Professor Sushila Singh, for the conference. Madam, on behalf of the entire college, Krishnamurti Foundation, I extend a very warm welcome to you for this occasion. I am extremely happy to have Dr. Anupma Oskariti, who is here on the dais with us, a stalwart in the field of folklores. She is also the founder and the director of the Dhatu Puppet Theatre, Bangalore. Madam, I feel so honored to have you here and on such a humble call to grace this occasion, which is indeed very, very important to all of us and endearing as well. So I'm very happy to have you, that you've traveled all the distance to be with us today. I also take this occasion to welcome a very active and vibrant head of the Department of English, Faculty of Arts, Varanasi University, Professor K.M. Pandey, who despite the hectic schedule right now where admissions are going on, decided to come here. Thank you, sir, for coming and gracing the occasion. Backfired, and as you can see, that many of my colleagues and students are missing from the college for the simple reason that admissions are on and most of them are on duty. And I know, sir, that it must have cost you a lot to leave the department and be with us. I also extend a very warm welcome to Shri Priya Shukliji, who has, that you have a comfortable stay with our humble abode that we have managed to arrange for you. आपका कॉलेज में सभी की तरफ से स्वागत है सर। This campus यहाँ आके गंगा किनारे एकदम शांतिपूर्ण वातावरण में अपने आप में बैठना ये ब्लेसिंग ही कहेंगे और क्या कह सकते हैं। I also welcome my younger colleague, Dr. Shantanu, who has travelled all the way to be here, a student of Varanasi University and always students looking for an opportunity to be back in Banaras. But we are very privileged to have you because I know that you have very sound work in folklores and literature. So I welcome you too, sir. Along with this, all those guests who have registered and are participating, I feel some of them will be coming or joining us because we have guests from all over the country, beginning as close as Allahabad University. I cannot see Professor Raju, I don't know, but he'll be here, and many others. So on behalf of the entire fraternity of Vasanta College for Women who are here, my students, my staff, I extend a very warm welcome to each one of you for beginning with a big celebration like this for the new semester 22-23. I would like to congratulate Dr. Saurabh Singh for having taken up this project, pursued it and having got it from ICSSR, which is basically for social sciences, where the arts creating a space for themselves is a little difficult. So I congratulate you, my blessings and good wishes for the conference, and along with it, all the teachers of the Department of English, along with all the students who are here as volunteers. I welcome each one of you. Thank you for being with us, and let's have a very sound deliberation on a topic that is so close to our heart, because folklore is something that finds itself somewhere on the margins, but it endears us because it also brings the very essence and the spirit of every community, bringing the local to the forefront. Somewhere not really very predictable in history, but definitely in terms of the humanness of studying, I think it does need a lot of interest that has been created, and I'm sure that this will help us to understand the very local culture of whichever tribe or concept that we are talking about, because that is out of memory rather than lettered text. So being in literature, I'm sure that this very concept of bringing it to the forefront is indeed an enlightening one. Thank you all for being with us. Thank you.
He said, felicitation is inspiration to others and motivation to whom you are felicitating. I now once again request our Principal Alkali and convener of the seminar, Saurav Kumar Singh, Saurav Bhaiya, to felicitate the dignitaries on the dais. Exploring the multiverse of short stories and women writing, which is a compendium of students' colloquiums. It is an annual event where students of undergraduate and postgraduate they present their research papers. We are now going to have a book release of this new addition to our department.
We've been having colloquium every year. उसी को हम लोग देखते हैं articles of the students.
नहीं नहीं, that's fine.
For the students. Please, madam. पंचली
एक आप लीजिए.
तुम लोग हम ले. रचना. अच्छा sorry.
ये लीजिए. फर्स्ट हो गया ये लीजिए.
करने से ही खोलना. ओके.
अभी रुकेगा मैम. अभी नहीं.
Kumar Singh, convener of the seminar, to present before us the concept note. Saurav Bhaiya.
फोक की बात हो रही है तो पहले मैं हिंदी में बोलूंगा। आदरणीय मंच, आज एकादशी है और मुझे याद है कि जब मैं छोटा था तो गांव में आज के दिन शाम को हम लोग गन्ना चूसा करते थे और जिसके पास गन्ना नहीं होता था वो दूसरों के घर जाकर के जिस पर गन्ना होता था वहां पे गन्ना चूस करके बड़ों का आशीर्वाद लिया करते थे, पैर छू करके। ये एक फोक परंपरा रही है। आज दुख के साथ मुझे कहना पड़ रहा है कि इसमें कुछ कमी आई है। हमारे गांव में भी आज एकादशी का अर्थ कुछ बदल सा गया है। अब लोग दूसरों के घर नहीं जाते हैं। गन्ना बड़ा मुश्किल हो गया है चूसना, उसको दांत कमजोर हो गए हैं शायद, लेकिन उसके बहाने जो बड़ों का आशीर्वाद मिलता था, जो लोग पैर छूते थे, वो मेरे ख्याल से जो कुछ कमी आई है जो कि दुखद है। मुझ जैसे प्राणी के लिए जो कि फोकलोर में रुचि रखता है, और चूंकि जब मैं फोकलोर की बात कर रहा हूं तो फोकलोर मेरे लिए कोई ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं है, कोई ऑब्जेक्टिव एनालिसिस की वस्तु नहीं है, बल्कि एक सब्जेक्टिव मैटर है। इसी एकादशी को ध्यान रखते हुए मैं सभी अपने बड़ों से, साथियों से, बच्चों से सभी को नमस्कार करता हूं और आशीर्वाद की इच्छा रखता हूं। I started showing my interest in folklore before Corona when I was in a refresher course at Northeastern Hill University, Nehu. And there I came across the rich repertoire of folklores, whereby I came across verbal folklores which talk about jokes, riddles, myths, legends, proverbs, chants, oaths, taunts, teases, tongue twisters. I will remember my childhood. These were so integral part of my grooming. But somehow, with the passage of my growth, they have been declining or demising. I came across several cultural loads which include folk customs, beliefs, folk religious practices, ceremonies, festivals, folk dance, folk song, folk music, folk theatre and folk drama. Fortunately, my PhD is on Girish Karnad, and through Girish Karnad I could read Ratnathiyam, I could read so many other, including Habib Tanveer, Badal Sarkar, do in a different manner. But yes, and I came across various material loads, metal works, stone works, soil works, bamboo works, wood works, weaving, textiles. I am from Banaras, Hatkala Udyog, I can think of. But I also think of very famous novel, Jeeni Jeeni Bini Chadariya, and the tragic portrayal of the weavers. All these things, really pushed me to invite the folk dealing with folklores. And the result is this seminar. As far as my initiation to folklore is concerned, I can say that I am in diploma course. I have to go for a certificate and degree and other courses in terms of maturity, in terms of understanding, in terms of whatever my plans have. And I was reading some archives, and then I came across bizarre but very interesting historical reference. And the reference was made by US Secretary of War in the Second World War. In fact, the name is Henry Simpson. And when America was trying to bomb Japan, and when Americans were making a list of American cities, they had Kyoto in the list. Kyoto as well. And the Secretary of War said, please delist Kyoto. I have been to Kyoto. Kyoto is so culturally rich, so beautiful. I have been there for honeymoon, but I cannot destroy Kyoto. That's why Kyoto was left aside. I said bizarre, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I'm not supporting that. Nobody can support that. But yes, I read in my childhood, the pen is mightier than sword. And through that reference, I can well say that folklore's cultural heritage, they are mightier than atom bombs. This seminar is one of my dream projects whereby I have been quite selfishly, I have invited scholars in order to know more about folklores. Folklores which are scattered throughout India, different states, different regions, different localities, to revive them, to restore them, to appreciate them, to talk about them, and making us sensitize as well. They might be sounding ordinary, but if we are at all aspiring towards becoming global, I think the path to become global is to be local first. So let us celebrate local. Let us celebrate our ordinariness. Let us celebrate our treasures. And what else can I say? I still am quite desirous to know more about them, more about from the scholars, researchers, resource persons. That's all. Thank you so much.
11th theme, and we know that in these 2 days we shall be having a wonderful time listening to the scholars, to the plenary speakers, to the keynote speaker, and we shall be learning a lot about this rich heritage of our country, India. We are extremely grateful to Anupama ma'am, who took time from her busy schedule and is here to deliver the keynote address for the inaugural session. But before I invite ma'am, I would like to share a brief bio note of her. Anupama Bhuskare ma'am is a master puppeteer and the founder director of the Dhatu Puppet Theatre, Bengaluru, India. She is the recipient of the prestigious Sangeet Natak Academy Puraskar, the highest Indian recognition given to practicing artists. She has wide experience in every facet of the composite art form of puppetry, including performance, puppet making, puppet theatre, proscenium design, script writing for puppet plays, music and song composition for puppet plays, lighting, sound effects in puppet theatre. She has created to date over 25 puppet productions, including several productions which include dance and puppetry, combined in absolutely endearing proportions. A careful and detailed study of the Natya Shastra provided ma'am much impetus to expand the intricacies and intellectual merit of her productions. Ma'am received the Senior Research Fellowship from the Ministry of Culture, which gave her an opportunity to redesign the old puppet theatre into a more complex layered theatre, combining dance, theatre and puppetry into one Broadway scale performance of about 80 minutes. She is the recipient of the Erasmus Mundus Scholarship given by the United Nations to teach Indian puppetry in Europe. The Dhatu Puppet Theatre has been invited to perform at prestigious international festivals in France, Belgium, Morocco, United States of America and China, apart from several platforms within India where Ma'am's genius received its due recognition. Ma'am is also the festival director of the Dhatu International Puppet Festival, an annual festival in Bengaluru, as well as Dhatu Navratra Mahotsav. Dhatu has over time developed to become India's first puppetry brand name that catapulted puppetry into being recognized as a respected and classical art form of India. As an expert speaker and resource person, Ma'am has presented a number of papers on Karnataka puppetry. She has also given several TEDx talks in universities and schools. Ma'am has trained under Guru M.R. Ranganath Rao in traditional puppetry of Karnataka and has worked relentlessly to resurrect the special string puppet techniques of India. Ma'am also trained in Bharatnatyam under late Guru Narmada and late Sri V.S. Kaushik. She holds 2 master's degree in engineering, MS in electrical and computer engineering from Cal State University, Long Beach, California, and ME in communication engineering. Ma'am has been nominated as an independent director to NPCC. She is a member of the Central Advisory Board on Culture. Ma'am is committed to preserving, nurturing and spreading the positive and celebrating aspects of Bharata's ancient heritage, traditions and culture through puppetry. All the work done by her is a concentrated effort towards this. We are honored to have you here with us, ma'am. And while reading your bio note, I was having goosebumps. Over to you, ma'am, please.
Greetings to one and all. You know how kids go to a birthday party, happy, joyous, say, yeah, I need to go. Me coming to this event is like that. It's a state of happiness for me because here it's text and I was studying text and context. My life is from text to context. So my pleasure, my happiness, my whole persona blossoms when I see these words. And so thank you. Sorry. When you're inside, you see something else. When you come from outside, you see something else. For the person sitting in this room, that is just a source of light. From the person coming from outside, it is coming from light to dark, whatever. So today, my perspective is not going to be Varuna and Asi, it's going to be Kashi. It's going to be how Indians look at Lokakala. The word folk itself stops with one dimension less. Satvikanubhava. What is Satvikanubhava? Emotional height, happiness of what is felt. For example, when you heard this beautiful music, the invocation just took me a little higher. Thank you for the beautiful music. And then there was one of the people who were giving the mementos who had such a beautiful earring. I'm like, oh my God, this is so pretty. See, you go into a state of mindlessness. I'm sure you experienced it too. You haven't yet seen the earring. Well, you may not be tuned in there. But then the music, it took you to a morning. So this dimension is in the book, concept note also, the word intangible has been used. So this is a perception, this is a feeling, this is an emotion which actually defines Lokala. How do we, it's very ambiguous what I'm talking. Okay, let me give you another example. There is a lot of science happening and telling you that there is a cloud formation. Cloud is formed, agreed. Can you predict 100% rain? Now precipitation is studied. They will say 80% chances, 70% chances. The cloud can move. Where it rains, we still cannot predict 100%. Human beings are also like this. You receive what you feel, whether you jump in joy, whether you say, I'm in a bad mood today, or you say, wow, this is so nice, or you become ecstatic, is your experience. So this dimension is missing in the word folk, which is a translation of Lokala in English. Why? Here in Varanasi, we have a lot of weavers. So if I give you a 5.5 meters of fabric, which has a border on both sides, and a large design in one end, you will just say, oh, what a beautiful sari. And then grandmother's sari, baby is born, or great grandmother's little piece of this pallu is used as maybe a decoration for a cradle in a household. When I was a young mother, I realized saris are cheaper than curtains. So I used to buy saris and make curtains. The same 5.5 meters of fabric. So it may go as a decoration. If you go in Delhi and see, they put nice saris everywhere, pandals, weddings. So the same fabric of 5.5 meters can be cut. This is the materialistic definition of folk art. Right? Wrong? Like you come and say, this is 5.5 meters of fabric is used for decoration. 5.5 meters of fabric can be cut and made into this, correct? But what is this 5.5 meters of fabric? It is a brilliant design of India, one size fits all. It is a brilliant design of India where there is no contortion of energy and there is a flow. It is a brilliant design of India where investment pays off. If you go study MBA, sari, you will bring it out and one size fits. So, when you are a person wearing a sari, when you are a person, if you are a person who appreciates a person wearing a sari, I'm talking about the Indian women and men, and or a child, you don't think much about this. You say, we know, we will, it is very nice. But if you are a person living across the border and you are given this beautiful fabric, you will rack your brain saying, what is this? What do I do with this? What is the pricing on this? What is the date on this? What is the history of this? And you go bonkers. You do research on this, very nice. We have to do research. But is it from our perspective? First question we have to ask. Many people say many things. For example, I'll tell you, Panchatantra is quoted, I just saw in the publication, as folk. Vishnu Sharman says in the first, if you read the original Panchatantra, Namostu Naya Shastra Kartubhya Sakalartha Shastra Saram. Whatever I go down, he's telling people I have done new work. What is it? First established satire about administration. No, he is calling it Shastra, classical. We are calling it folk. Because we didn't understand why he wrote. First 3 shlokas we have to read. Somebody told who doesn't understand that little children can be taught, 12-year-old boys are tutored into administration in India. Yes, they may be. So now I have Indian boys who are studying in Europe. At the age of 14, they are doing PhDs. We have brilliant minds all over the world. Ancient India recognized this. But somewhere in the Western system, they didn't have an understanding of this. So he says all the Shastra which is in the world, which was India at that time, is in this book. Now if Vishnu Sharman is calling it Shastra, we are calling it folk. Is he correct? Or are we right? Now let us examine what are these barriers. See, these are all words handed down to us post-independent India, post-British entry to India. Now the word folk, second word tradition, then the dreaded word classical. Okay? Folk is what? Now I will come back to experiencing the sari or kashi. It is an expression of ananda, happiness. It is an expression of joy. Joy of what? It is an expression of joy of doing the job right. What is the job? Maybe farming, maybe life, maybe a year. So we have this Utsava Sampradaya in our country. Any nook and corner of India you go to, they may call it many different names. We have 2 things, Vrata, Utsava. Examination, you do well, next day party. Today it may be pizza, maybe the Utsava, I don't know. But whatever it is, the day exam is over, you will see students in all the restaurants around you. Same thing, Vrata and Utsava. So, when you have led life in a thoughtful manner, you have discharged your duty, dharma, common sense ethics. It is very specific to very specific regions and peoples, and Samanya Dharma is different, Vishesha Dharma, here, there, everywhere. In the Lokakala, this is what we see. So you have, sometimes you ullasa of the mind, mindlessness. So this rendering is common everywhere, anything, whether it is rangoli, whether it is fabric. Like I told you, I saw the earring and I was like, oh, so nice. Mindlessness. So the joy you feel is what we are. Why? Why is that only our country has this and other countries are not looking at it? It is because of the sun, not S-O-N, S-U-N. See, we have the sunlight. When there is sunlight in a country, you have colors. And when you have colors, you have expression of joy using these colors. We have colors. We are also fine-tuned. We are very old. We have in Malavikagnanitram, Kalidasa's Malavikagnanitram, which is a romantic comedy, detailed description about the craft, the art, performing art nuances. Related to 2nd century for now. So in 2nd century, we had peaked with all of this. We were very sophisticated with all of this. So, of course, you look for other things when it becomes boring, you have the same thing again and again, boredom sets in. So we need variety, and our country is very dynamic. Just now Saurabhji was talking about the sugarcane incident where, the act of visiting houses and then doing pranam and all of this. What has happened is urbanization. Now, let us look at Bharat or India and see, have we been static? What one mistake we do in categorizing, in analyzing, in understanding is that we take it to be static. Any nation which is static, I have visited China, showcase. Real China is not there, it's all westernized. Showcase China, they'll tell you, this is our culture, Confucius temple, whatever is there. Then go to Rome, it is museums, right? Ruins. Greek, where are they? So in poverty, ruins, trying to cope with the Western world, imitate the Western world, and then Egypt to some extent it is there, but still they are not satisfied with what they are. What happens in India? We are changing. We are continuously changing. We adapt, we change, we rationalize, we question. If it is good for us, we keep it. Over 50 years, it's ours. It becomes our traditions, our customs, and our folk art. So, my talk today was to bring your attention to these things. Now let us see what is folk. So when you express happiness and you have freedom to do whatever you want. For example, you go to a party, there's music going on, you just start rhythmic, you're not trained in dance, and then you just start dancing, and then you come home happy. You go again second time, it is not repeated. Then you go again third time, it is not repeated. Something comes, random comes. This is folk. It cannot be repeated. But the same thing, somebody sees you do a good job and say, come on, let's do this on stage. And then you rehearse and you rehearse, it becomes repeatable. And then they ask you, why are you doing these steps? And then you say, I don't know, in my region, my nani taught me this, so I'm doing this. Well, that is tradition for you. But then you go to the nani and say, why did you do this? See, dance classes are also taught like this. Folk showcases now are all traditional, there are no more folk. It's not done in the paddy field, it's done on stages. It's done in structured units where people rehearse, come and perform. Now, sometimes this comes from the other end of this. This is the context I'm talking about, the text. What is the text? See, India is the only country in the world having a text for performance. It tells you why. Why do I need to do this? It's called the Natya Shastra, by the way. And it's extremely logical. 36 chapters of the Natya Shastra will tell you what you need to do for a box office hit. Period. We're talking about success. And what does it say again is the purpose of your art. The purpose of your art is to create, connect with your audience, give them the cloud, the cloud formation, and hope for a rain. And what is this cloud? In the art field, the cloud is rasa, rasa anubhava. What does this give you? What you heard, it is music. So everybody is aiming at the same goal. Sometimes it is simple, sometimes it is designed, it is complex, and you can get a higher, so nice. Now, this is a pyramid structure. What we call folk, what we call lokala, is a trickle down of culture. It has the layers. What is the layer? The highest top of the pyramid is music. You're just by yourself. It can be any music. No classical folk, nothing. Music. The top of the pyramid is you have your voice and then you just enjoy. You reach the heights. You connect with the bow, and then you have the Shilpakala, Chitrakala, about the theatre, which is again leading to the same thing. And here you see, it doesn't matter whether it's folk tradition or classical. It is the same. Depending upon your space of appreciation, depending upon your fine tuning, you get into the happiness of the mind. And as you come below this, you have the theatre, the cinema, and then you have the Utsava Sampradayas. Like I saw sugarcane in the market today. I was wondering why is there, because in Bangalore, we have this sugarcane same kind of event happening in January, because that's when the crop comes. So depending upon the geography, depending upon when the crop comes, mind you, if the weather changes, if over time, this is what they're noting, right? So rain doesn't come in Chaturmasya, rain doesn't stop after that. Rain continues. So if this is changing in the world, our calendars will change. Our festivities have to look into this and say, do we change? It's very difficult because we are stuck in the mind because of an input given by somebody who doesn't understand this dimension of our nation. So going from text to context is a beautiful journey. See, we have to answer the question why. Folk or lokala may say, why not? I'm happy. The traditionalists may say, for 1000 years, my teacher has taught me this, okay, fine. It is alright, you can still be the best performing artist, the best artist, provided there is no corruption in the way. We are human beings. We will make mistakes and we will have things eroding with time. So in which case, we have to refresh it, come back to the basics, to the foundations, and see what went wrong. See, Muratva it is called, right? Superstition sets in when you stop answering the question why. In our country, all Utsava Sampradayas, which pretty much is the gamut for every celebration here, because that's what it is. You do a vrata, you have an Utsava. You award yourself, you reward yourself, because we believe that the nature of the human being, the nature is happiness. In that case, what is being sad? It is like the clouds of the sun. You need to remove the clouds. You need to remove the doubts. You need to go on. We have umpteen dialogues. We have umpteen passages which ask why, starting with who am I? You know, we have the Upanishad, which is also a folklore, but it changes. Vedas are a folklore. They came from the folk. And if you go see the beginnings of it, it is folk. The only reverse I see here is the poor Panchatantra, which started as classical and is now folk. Because people are reading translations and not the originals. People who have translated it, Ryder or whoever else, has done a good job of the story translation. You get a good idea of the nesting or the systems of storytelling, but you do not understand what this is talking about. See, when I got a call from Paris University, La Fontaine translated Panchatantra, and now, not now, 2012, Paris celebrated, France celebrated La Fontaine's works as traditional works of France. They took too much money, it is so blurred, my eyes are hurting, this is stupid. Problem is not the movie, the problem is that you don't have the tool. You need the 3D glasses to watch a 3D movie. Similarly, when you look at Indian context, when you look at Indian texts, you need to understand from somebody who knows what are they talking about. You know, someday there was a description of a woman once when I was much, much younger. Maybe when I was in high school. I said, what is this balderdash? Some old woman, young woman. See, they were talking about day and night and eyes. lifespan of a human being. And they were given a character, a beautiful picturization of the mind is what India has done. So the mind picturization translates into body action. And the mind picturization is done for the purpose of elevation of the human being. Progress, 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 progress. See, the reading and getting first rank is not just the mother's pleasure. The whole culture is for the human being. You're born, don't waste time. Shana. We count the space, time between two thoughts. No other country has this measurement. So this is our treasure house. This is our perceptions of life. And it goes towards a goal of progress. Box office hit, quick gains. If you waste, you don't need to reinvent a wheel. It's a waste of life. And there's nothing challenging intellectually when you do that. So what these words are, whatever you touch upon, very beautifully it is written north to south, east to west. So I'll not mention all that because it's already there. These are tools for you to expand, grow, understand, provided you have the right tools. Otherwise, it's very mundane and it's like watching any sitcom. You can just do that. There's no difference between the two. So, we have to become aware of this. Now, when tradition gets corrupted, we need to go to Shastra. So now, when you are calling Panchatantra a folk, we have to have Saurabhji one seminar to understand whether this is folk or Shastra, because Vishnu Sharma says it is Shastra. What is Shastra then? Shastra is classical in English. Shastra is science. What is science? I do an experiment here. Somebody does an experiment in Timbuktu. Somebody does it in Russia, right, in the war scene. Results are same. See, it is universal result. And ingredients are always material is subject to geography. So we give some error margin for this. Whether it is a mathematical postulate, whether it is a scientific experiment, whether it is a nuclear experiment, whether it is with your phones, the chips, anywhere in this world, results are the same. So, the source is universal. The word Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is not a political jargon. It is actually true, because I have this experience that when I went to a French speaking space, I tried learning French and then I didn't have time. I was not good at it. And I said, they invited me to teach puppetry. Let me see, I used Kannada and Sanskrita. Hindi also a little bit was used. And they picked up the language. The words are not difficult. And then I'll share this one example with you. There is a lot of racism when you go outside. I was a basic Indian with no airs, nothing. I just went there in a salwar kameez, left my chappal outside, went into the classroom, and I just suddenly realized, oh, I am not wanted here. Brown woman with nothing, no credentials, no style, going in there. Then I remembered Swami Vivekananda's words. I said, I go down, do my duty, leave my ego outside. I accept the day for what it is. So I did. First 2 days, I wouldn't even get a jack to connect my PowerPoint presentation. I was away. I said, we will see what happens. Then I told the students, I did not ask to come here. Whoever wants to go can go. Then they showed a video camera. They said, no, we cannot go. There is video recording us. I said, okay, you do whatever you want in the class. Whoever wants to listen to me, listen. There is no compulsion here. After 2 days of class, they accosted me outside the classroom. About 38 students were there and said, we want you to come with us. I got a little scared. This was in Brussels. I thought I was going to get mugged or something. Then I said, why? They said, we have to go to a bar. I said, my spirits are within. I don't need anything from outside. So we will not require. They said, no, you have to come. We went there, we get you hot chocolate. They sat me down on a long table and they poured their hearts out, saying, we are very sorry. We didn't know what you had to offer. To be very honest with you, I didn't know. I just knew what I knew. I didn't know it was so impactful around the world. I'm like, what? And then they went on and on and on. See, Panchatantra is what I was teaching. There was an administration problem between two unions in that university, and I had my approach to Panchatantra as a satire for administration. And those are the ones I picked up, and also because they had called our people wizards, I was trying to explain to them that we look at it from the perspective of Kashi and not Varanasi. See, there are perspectives of the same thing. So they took this perspective, they understood this perspective, and it just clicked. They said, we need to have a Panchatantra in our class now. Believe it or not, we did one in French. We wrote where the cock, which is the bird of the country, was used instead of the fox, Karateka Damanaka, the jackals, we use that. So you see, there is universal appeal here. This is called cracking the code. I'm going back to 2 more minutes, I'll be done. Text to context. And text to context. When you have something, try to understand. See, I can interpret. Americans interpret. They don't try to understand. In the West, it is fashionable to say, what is your interpretation? What is your interpretation? They give you a score and they say, you interpret in 1,000 ways and go home happy. Now, if you try to understand the source and where they're coming from, it's like hacking. All of us know the word hacking. It's not just for the computer codes. We need to crack the codes of our literature. We need to crack the codes of our folk tales. When we do that, we stand to benefit. We stand to question. We get deeply rooted within our country. We don't feel bad. We are not losing anything. It is a continuous flow like the Ganga. It's gushing like the Ganga. And if you don't gush, you stagnate, you die, you don't live. So our country lives on. Our folks live on. Our customs lives on. Our saris are there because we are open to reason, we are open to rationalization, we are open to questioning, and we are not afraid to answer the question why. And we do not borrow thoughts. Never, ever, ever. So there is one article on Gargi, fantastic example. See, all of us are not right always. I'm not saying we just have to say, okay, I'm right all the time. You start with the questioning of what is this? And try to understand, don't accept less. See, we have been whiteified, I call it, because we have been under so many other people. We are bulldozed into accepting mediocrity as an answer. So, okay, maybe a perspective, and there are many perspectives in this world for everything. And more than one can be right. So, what holds the highest position is that which comes from experience. That is why you touch the feet of a buzurg. Because that's what you want to receive. Saying, give me shortcut, give me knowledge, give me advice. Because I don't want to do the same mistakes. So if I'm a better generation, I do more things. So in order to do more things, you need to build a bridge. In order to build the bridge, you need to understand the strength of the foundation. And I hope this seminar is going to be there for you to understand holistically Lok Kala of India and also understand where the folk stops. So the word itself, because I have fought this for many years in the governmental agencies, which box people, saying folk. This folk is not static, not at all. Yakshagana, which was folk, is today classical. Depends on the growth, depends on the questioning, depends on how much the context goes back to the text. And it's just a brilliant topic. Congratulations on that. And thank you again for listening to me. And well, as I said, it's a very, very happy time for me. Namaste.
Where you insightfully discussed with us each and everything about the Indian folklores and why we need Chancellor of Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapeeth here. But because of the visit of his apologies, moving further, I take the opportunity of inviting our teacher Sushila ma'am, who is the Professor Emeritus Banaras Hindu University and the guest of honor for today's session, to please come and share some of her insights. Ma'am, please.
Exploration on folklores of India, beautifully outlined by the expert who is inimitable in her own way, Dr. Anupama, in her keynote address, touched almost all points, talking of Lokala, Ekadashi, and not only folklores of India, but going to Pari, going to cultures there, and how she could enthrall and make the impact, bring India and its continuing culture to people there through Panchatantra. I'm really so happy that you have organized this meet under the inspiring, guiding and dedicated service of Professor Alka Singh. So many activities always take place here, but this one is venturing into a new area, quote unquote, not so new, continuing, but then a new exploration, and for that the convener of the seminar, Saurabh is to be congratulated. I was thinking when he was talking of Ekadashi, गन्ना अभी भी आप लंका चले जाएं, वहाँ पर जो डिवाइडर है शायद आपने देखा होगा, वहाँ गन्ना हमेशा हमेशा आपको मिलता है। आज के दिन बहुत से लोग व्रत किए रहते हैं और गन्ना क्योंकि पहली क्रॉप आती है, those I also come from a village, a nearby village which is known as the rice bowl of India. So as Anupama ji was talking about Utsav, Ullas, all these terms are very, very significant and very experienced to be here because they. So what is the ultimate meaning in there, in the lore? The word lore is very important. It's investigation, as she was pointing out, scientific investigation, ultimate knowledge. Something loses many kind of integral meaning of that particular lok kala or the folk. I was India, of course, you know, or Bharat as you call it. It is a living culture. Started kind of from vision which is translated as drishya, when one sees something and then describes that. That is how storytelling and all those things go there. I was just thinking here, I am not kind of these puppets, of course. Puppets, if you go back to Indian film, cinema, many, if you may recall so many, like it is built in the story of the film or the plot of the story there. So it is integral to our existence. The ultimate knowledge of any culture or people, that is what folk, because it is again coming from, you can say, to fill, and coming from the crowd to another word, people, that again it goes to Latin, but when you come back to your own word, then you know it is only Ullas and Utsav that you find. I was wondering, our Professor Kane Pandey is here, who is an expert in Sanskrit and so many things. We are looking forward to hearing him also. I am seeing Shantanu-ji. I was just thinking that it is a continuity that goes on. If you just recall, before the Deepavali, you started with Deepavali. Before that, all cleaning and kind of sacred things that we do associated with Deepavali. Then Bhai Dooj. The best example that is coming to my mind is Chhath Puja. We have just completed Chhath Puja, and it is linked with the direction taken by the sun. सूरज का जो उदय होता है और फिर वो दूसरी तरफ जाता है, उनको एक तरह से कह सकते हैं हम कि सलामी दी जाती है. और men, women, children, everyone. I'm just thinking of my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. वो पहले बिहार में हुआ करता था. जब हम बड़े हो रहे थे तो छठ पूजा बनारस में नहीं होती, बाहर से आती थी. हम इंतज़ार करते थे, उसके साथ एक पर्टिकुलर मीठा, आप मीठी पूरी कहिए, ठेकुआ कहते हैं उसको, और भी कई नाम उसके दिए हुए हैं, लेकिन वो इतना स्वादिष्ट होता है. आप उसको चढ़ाते हैं, पानी की पूजा होती है यहाँ गंगा के किनारे. इस बार 2 days back we were on boat because my son was visiting, my daughter-in-law is here. They have just left this morning, so we went to have there. Because of the floods, so much of mud is there still in Ganga, but it will clear away. I received a call and they said that, madam, it will clear away in 2 days. So Chhath Puja, and you see all those songs associated with Chhath, mainly that so many people have become such celebrity. So that is the kind of folklore or folk knowledge that is essentially very, very our very own. When Anupma ji was talking about Girish Karna, I got some near Hampi or some place that is there in Karnataka, and I saw his house. It is still there. They have kept it intact, maintained it now, and people go and visit there. Similarly, when she was saying that text and context, and from context again you go back to the text. Text is the ultimate knowledge recording which has been oral, communicated from generation to generation, and that goes on, and that is why I think that there is no concept of quote unquote tragedy. दुखांत जिसको कहते हैं, उसकी कल्पना हमारी लोक कला में नहीं है. आनंद और उत्सव, उल्लास, इन 2-3 शब्दों का बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण प्रयोग अनुपमा जी ने अपने कीनोट एड्रेस में किया है. और जो सबसे हम ज़्यादा देख रहे हैं वो हमारे जो यंग स्टूडेंट्स हैं, मुझे लगता है कि उनके पास जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है. आई वॉज जस्ट रीडिंग दैट बुक which I would like to mention particularly to our young minds who are pursuing studies at undergraduate and postgraduate level and at research level. I think Modi at 20, I think everyone must at least read once, From Dreams to Delivery. That is, I think, believe the subtitle is there. of that book. And Sudha Murthy, who frequently visited us at the Banaras Hindu University, she has written a beautiful piece in that. And the title of that particular article is "Then Came the Winds of Change." And then came the winds of change. This is the article that she has written, and she's talking of she's a storyteller. Storytelling is again integral to Indian mind, Indian culture, Indian civilization, Indian spirit that inspires us. And all storytelling has been done here by women, by mother, grandmother particularly. Unki kahaniyan. You may recall again R.K. Narayan's book, Grandmother's Tale. There also you can find. So, what Sudha Murthy is talking, she's describing her own experience, personal experience. She met at doctor's friend's house a person who was named Sarla. So she brings something to her because she was visiting the doctor's house. कुछ बना के लाते हैं और वो dates पोली, that is what we call dates, खजूर का कुछ हमको लगता है कि कुछ स्वीट डिश रहा होगा, वो उनको ला करके देती है. और then she has a young daughter whose name is very significantly written. I think that is described. It's on her own actual experience. That young girl is named Sapna. So Sarla and her daughter Sapna that we all know means dream. So this young girl, उनकी बहुत limited, सीमित desires हैं. Sudha Murthy is chatting to that person और कहती हैं कि आप क्यों नहीं इस बेटी को अपने आगे पढ़ाते हैं. कहती कि ये अगर रिसेप्शनिस्ट हो जाए, that is my ultimate ambition for that girl. और because she says husband is not there, because Sudha Murthy is describing roads were not good in those days. Improving infrastructure in India is improving now, that is what she is describing there. And because of bad roads, so many accidents happen. See, you have to relate it to life. Local culture and life. Husband जो है उनकी death हो जाती है और this woman has to work as a housekeeper in some doctor's house. This young girl, the ultimate ambition is that she becomes receptionist someday, this Sapna. Time passes. After 20 years or so, what happens? Sudha Murthy receives a letter, an offer, and that too comes during the time of COVID. Lockdown everywhere, and she says she receives a letter and she said, "Ma'am, if you support, I have a project in my mind. What will I do? I will prepare that PPE kit for those who are suffering from this disease during pandemic time." Initially, first she did not give that much mind, but later she is convinced. She said, "Okay, if you are able to deliver." She supports it by 10 lakh rupees. And how later, ultimately it happens that she is able to do something. She says, "I have a small group of people working and young, quote unquote, unlettered women working in that company and making those PPE kit." How? Because they are very good at making art. Design has been of that person's kind of dream of life forever and ever. To cut the long story short, she discovers that this is the same girl who was Sapna, who had come, who just wanted to be receptionist initially. Now she saved so many lives by creating, and they tested by government agencies this particular PPE kit, which was found to be even better, which was being imported in those times, in pandemic times. I don't know, I mean, all those who have undergone that lockdown situation and pandemic, you know what kind of thing, particularly the second wave when it came, it was really, really difficult. So, human life or young minds, they have so many options, but they have to continue from the roots. If they are separated from their folk, I should not say from Lokala, from Lok Chetana, or their particular knowledge, or which I call the ultimate knowledge, then there will be problem. In Paris, if you go, as we call it, Paris, there, Ellen Sisu, there is one very important thinker of this century. She is still there. If you visit her, you will find mini India in her house. The entire decor, everything from India. So that kind of, there is a department of Bhojpuri, which is very powerful in the main heartland of Paris. People where you will not find them, that is their culture. It is not our culture. Our culture is working 24 hours as Principal Professor Al-Kasi does. At least I did 20 hours. I mean, total time dedicated to the institution and service to build up things. I was going down, seeing paintings and beautiful artifacts, all those things, handmade things. ये सारे के सारे तो आपके लोक कला को ही रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, आपकी यह माइंड को ही रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. तो हमें उनको उसी तरह इंटैक्ट रखना है, जीवित रखना है. और इस साइंस को जो टेक्स्ट और कॉन्टेक्स्ट की बात अभी बहुत आगे होगी. मेनी eminent scholars I am seeing, Professor Veena Singh is there, and there are many others, and particularly I have hope from my research students and other experts who will be sharing their views from this platform. I would like to once again congratulate Dr. Saurath for organizing this seminar, Professor Al-Kasi for thinking of this, for guiding this, for making it a reality. This is a new area of investigation, I think, and you have immense treasure to discover, to find. The moment you pass by Harishchandra Ghat, you are immediately reminded Rohitashva and Harishchandra, you can see them, they are there on the ghats, which sometimes we just think that this is just a burning water. It is not. You go back to Harshcharitam, that is available in Sanskrit as well as in English. So that can be read in the entire book. Harishchandra Charitam, I think that's the exact name or something. We talk of Ganga. Have you ever given any thought why it is, this is Uttar Vahini, यहाँ पर उत्तर वाहिनी क्यों गंगा है? In other places, Ganga has left its banks for miles and miles, and here, because it is a perennial city, the oldest city which was referred to by very able Rachna Manjari, I'm sorry. So we described that thing, Uttar Vahini. It arrests the flow of Ganga. It stays here because the Kashi the city of light was chosen no less than a person, but Lord Shiva himself. And who was behind selection of Kashi? Again, लोक कथाओं में शुक्ला साहब बैठे हैं, शायद ज़्यादा लाइट चले, if I'm not able to describe that. Parvati, Shiv Parvati, they were going down and they wanted some place to make their residence, and it was selected because this was all forests and ponds. So Kashi was selected by, you can say, the goddess herself or the Shiva's better half. I am not saying better half, one who completes Shiva. They are one and the same in themselves. So the city was selected, this place was selected where they would reside. And if you are able to have darshan, it has another significance. Go to Nepal to Pashupatinath, and from there, if you, the same day, if you are able to come and have darshan at Vishwanath. And then again, why do you say that you have to go to Kal Bhairav before you go to Lord Shiva? Because Kal Bhairav is, and all these are lokathaएं. आपका ultimate knowledge है, उनको समझना है. And students के पास, they have that unlimited treasure to explore, to investigate scientifically and understand that knowledge. First understanding, seeing that knowledge is the first step, then knowing it, and then kind of passing it on to the future generations. With these few words, once again, I'm very thankful to Professor Rajghat Singh for having me here, for sharing my, I can say, thoughts with you, whatever came to my mind on this topic, because knowledge just is there to be explored, to be realized, to be seen, and to be to pass on to the younger generation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And for that, I once again take the proud privilege of inviting our teacher, Professor K.M. Pandey, Head Department of English, Varanasi University, to please come forward and share his insights and remarks.
और कविता, अभिनव गुप्त पर लंबी टिप्पणियां, अभिनव गुप्त का गीतार्थ, उस पर व्याख्यान, ये सब सुनते देखते हुए हम लोग बढ़े हैं, मेरे जैसे लोग बढ़े हैं, आपको नमन. There are so many present here. My pranam and naman to all of them. After this vibrant keynote by Professor Haskare and Kashi Darshan by Sushila ma'am, it seems there is not much left to be said. But again, this is what our tradition is. Whatever is handed over to us, we should accept that, we should add something to that. So sir, 2 lines of your poems here. I spent the whole evening yesterday reading your collection of poems and also Kala and Kavita and Abhinav Gupta. And it can be related to the theme of the seminar. Ganga and Uttar Vahini in Banaras. And she is slow here. Why? How this slowness has been interpreted by us, by this log. All the classical forms of music, dance, and other such forms have grown here over the millennium. In fact, since the known history, maybe because of the blessings of Goddess Parvati, who chose this place, and Ganga had to change her route as well. The Lok makes us remember that Parvati and Ganga are sisters. Shiva is blessed having both of them here. So sir, हर क्षण सत्य है, सर की एक छोटी सी कविता है। रश्मियां सूर्य चंद्र की, हर क्षण आकाश, हवा हर क्षण, धरती भी पैरों के नीचे, जल वही नहीं है साथ हर क्षण, कहीं तल अतल में है, दूर नदी समुद्र बादल ताल में, उसे लाना ढोना उगाहना उलीचना पड़ता है। हाँ, वह खींचता है अपनी ओर हर क्षण, वही सींचता जल। The whole cycle is covered in one poem, and Lok, folklore, text and context. As a student of English literature, I feel myself shortened when I have to equate this word folk with lok. Within that frame, the word folk is on the margin. Our lok has never been on the margins. It has always been with the Shastra. Ma'am talked about it. And also the kind of questions that have been there in our tradition. Ours has been a questioning tradition. In Vedas, seeing something and one becomes a rishi. In all the Upanishads, the very word etymologically says sitting together, this togetherness. And when we sit together, we ask questions. Pucho bhai, if I know the answer, I will give, or I will ask you to experiment. It has been in this very way all the Upanishads have been written. Ma'am pointed out very significantly about the first basic book in our classical tradition, where Lok and Shastra both go together. Natya Dharmi and Lok Dharmi, they have been discussed there. And it begins with 5 basic questions. Rishis ask those 5 questions. Primarily they are 2 questions. The 3 are technical ones and are answered at the beginning. How is rasa generated? What are bhavas? And the whole of the Natya Shastra is an explanation of that. Ma'am very beautifully explained that. When we look at this context of the folklore, folk, again it troubles me. Maybe some creative writer like A.K. Ramanujan might replace this word folk with lok, and the whole new meaning might be added. When he said sanskar cannot be translated into English because it is a very poor language. Just 2 words, rites and rituals. And when we utter this word sanskar, 16 आ जाते हैं, जन्म से पहले और जन्म के मृत्यु के बाद वाले भी. So इस नित्योत्सव काशी में हरि प्रबोधनी एकादशी पर हम लोग यहाँ एकत्रित हैं. And ma'am referred to this very beautiful thing that we have been celebrating our festivals, even our new year, as per the movement of the sun. इसीलिए हमारे कितने तरह के 9 वर्ष हैं. It's not this 1st of January. डाला छठ सूर्य षष्ठी बचपन में मैंने नहीं सुना था. मैं सही बताऊं, मैंने नहीं कहा, बनारस में नहीं था. मैं तो बनारस से 200 किलोमीटर और आगे अयोध्या का हूँ. यदि रिश्ता बहुत गहरा रहा है वहाँ का, वहाँ से. Even then I had not heard about that. But Diwali, we remember this, and then we remember how we celebrated this. It was celebrated by our Lok. घर घर दिए जलाना, it was not सरकारी व्यवस्था. Tomorrow also we will have another festival, again not organized by the government. Just 4-5 decades ago it was started in Banaras. Two brothers thought about it. We are all lucky to be here and we can be witness to this very thing. I feel privileged to say something before Sushila ma'am, a teacher to many of us, teacher of generations of teachers, and I can see many who have joined us, who have followed me, including Manjari and so many. When we regard this word folk, text and context, scholars know the openness included in this very word text. And so, what happens in, I was reminded two other things. While coming to this very place, Avdut Bhagwan Ram, and was reminded of a story. He was going ahead and then after him Karpatri ji was there. और उनकी गाड़ी खराब हो गई. अवधूत भगवान राम, करपात्री जी रुके और कहा आप मेरी गाड़ी में बैठ जाइए. अवधूत जी ने कहा लेकिन मैं तो जूते के साथ रहता हूँ, आप तो खड़ाऊ वाले हैं. और उन्होंने कहा संतों की खड़ाऊ तो हम सिर पर रखते हैं. As a student, I have been witness to one such epiphanic moment in Ayodhya. Was blessed by the teaching of one of my gurus there. मठ में बैठे थे और उस दिन एक मौलवी साहब आ गए. उस दिन मेरी कोई पढ़ाई नहीं हुई लघु सिद्धांत कौमुदी की. उनका डिस्कशन कुछ चलता रहा जो कुछ मेरी समझ में बहुत कुछ नहीं आया, लेकिन आई हैड टू हियर दैट. और उन्होंने कहा मेरी नमाज का वक्त हो गया है, मैं चलूं. तो उन्होंने कहा बात तो अभी अधूरी रह गई, आप जा कैसे सकते हैं. डायलॉग, नमाज आप यहाँ भी पढ़ सकते हैं. और किसी शिष्य को कहा कि इनके लिए हाँ ये है, आपके लिए ऑप्शन सीमित है. ये शब्द मुझे आज भी याद है. आज याद आ गया जब ये घटना याद आई. पुल पर मैं चढ़ा, इधर से आया, इधर से जाने पर नहीं याद आया था, सामने से आने पर कहा इधर की तरफ तो आप मुंह करके पढ़ेंगे नहीं, इधर मंदिर का प्रमुख द्वार है और पैर करके मैं पढ़ने नहीं दूंगा. 2 दिशाएं हैं उसमें, चाहे इधर आप अपना सीधा अदा कर लीजिए और बाकी डिस्कशन. और उसके बाद मुझसे कहा तुम जाओ. It was some kind of lesson of this inclusiveness, this openness that our tradition had. I saw several abstracts of the papers, the titles listed here, and have noticed that it would be a very vibrant discussion in the coming 2 days. There is this basic difference in our tradition. There are so many who are worried, Western scholars worried about the original Mahabharata. वो जय था कि भारत था कि महाभारत था. What is original and how much of this is interpolated? Our tradition hasn't bothered about that. Whosoever added anything there submerged his or her identity in the larger identity of Vyas. This is our tradition. This is what gives us so much power and sustenance. Ma'am opened an institute and didn't name it after her. Dhatu Puppet Theatre, Bangalore. There is another speaker tomorrow. Not his name or her name, but the community. We have been social beings that way. So submerged, we become part of the larger system It's not just saying Aham Brahmasmi Tattvamasi. यथा पिंडे तथा ब्रह्मांडे as well. जो हमारे भीतर है वही बाहर है. If there is any kind of imbalance, we will never be happy. So we talk about this sampradaya and घराना in Banaras. शिष्य कह लेंगे किसी गुरु के हैं, लेकिन बात घराने की होगी. It is the source from where it comes. It is this kind of humility. So Sanskritization and Prakritization, I can say, both go together. The classical, the Shastra and the Lok. She referred to Kalidas, and I am reminded of yet another line from him. Dvidha prayuktena chavang mayena saraswati tam mithunam nuvav. Shiva and Parvati are married, and Goddess Saraswati is welcoming them in through two ways. Dvidha. One is the classical one, Sanskrit one, and the other is the Lok one, Prakrit one. Both two go together. Look at what happens in our rituals. पंडित जी अपना मंत्र पढ़ रहे हैं, द्वारचार हो रहा है, और उधर जीवंत परंपरा है. उधर से एक समूह पूरा महिलाओं का ये खोया नहीं है, घटा जरूर है और खोएगा भी नहीं. This is our strength, that mantra and lok go together. Deepavali and Deva Deepavali, we are capable of enlarging it. Look at the way there are Lok Gitas, songs in our tradition, folk tradition. You can think of different kinds of sanskar gitas. I may talk about this one variety of the Bharat, Sadh, Sariya and Sohar. In Avadhi, 3 varieties for invoking the children, prayer for getting children. Sadh is Putraishna. Classical में Putraishna होगी, उसके लिए कौन सा यज्ञ दशरथ जी कर रहे हैं. But this will, this urge, and then Sariya. हम लोग सरिया उसको कहते हैं जहाँ गाय रखी जाती है, तो पवित्र जगह अपने आप हो जाती है. और जहाँ पर the new baby is born, that place is known as Sariya. There are songs for that. And then Sohar, when the child comes. घर मोरे बाजे बधैया, ससुर द्वारे नौबतरे, सात सबद सहिनैया, गावन सखी सोहर में. Another way of looking at it. Thinking about Lok and this folk tale, I was reminded of how I have received this from my tradition. Partially, I say partially because this English education makes us, our modern education for that way makes us away from that slowly and slowly. We have to inculcate that by conscious effort. And परंपरा का तो अर्थ ही वही है, जो बेटर है उसको लेते जाइए. Like the river, rivering, it purifies itself. Whatever is good for us, whatever is useful for us, will remain. Dated, classicalized, fossilized will go away. Will be part of the books and part of the museum, as I am referred to. Yeah. So this Avadhi Lokgeet, just two such examples, and I know I must know my time limit. We talk much about the way Sita has a troubled life. I found many feminists talking about her, making her the protagonist of a text recent times. But there are other aspects as well. How our Lok has accepted it. कोई शादी आपने ऐसी देखी जिसमें कोई ऐसा गीत न गाया जाए, हिंदू मैरिज हो और जो वो स्थान जनकपुर न हो जाए. मुझे तो नहीं मिला अभी तक हैं। वो स्थान जनकपुर न हो जाए। एंड the world is always seen as Ram and the bride as Sita. In the other avatar, things become different. Honoring the system in Treta and taking all the system in his hand. That is Dwapar. Krishna gives a new system, but Ram respects that system. It is in this very system what happens. Sita is in the forest. I was reminded of this song. I couldn't remember the whole of it, but some lines kept on resonating in my mind, which came to me. I was lucky to pass my childhood, live with my grandmother, and we grew that way. So great grandmother, grandmother and बड़ी माँ, बड़े पिताजी की माँ, पत्नी बड़ी माँ. That was the tradition. In the English, you get just one word, mother, father, and then everyone is uncle and auntie. Our lok is different. हम कहें चाचा है, तुरंत पूछते हैं सगे चाचा, मामा. It is our lok. मामा कहना छोटी बात नहीं है. The girl goes away and the brother says, my dear sister, I am always with you in your joys and sorrows. मैं हमेशा हूँ. मैं ऐसा इसलिए भी कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि किसी अपनी बहन के लिए मुझे ऐसा कपड़ा भी ले जाना पड़ा when she became a widow, and I could remember this, that this is the role. She purified herself with that very cloth. If there is an auspicious occasion, she will wear that very cloth which comes from her mother's side. ये हमारा लोक है. In our लोक भी से आप चाचा हो कि मामा, किसके मामा? In marriage ceremonies we ask मामा किसके, लड़की के लड़के के. आप उसको feminist study एक दूसरे एंगल से करिए. But the lok is so strong. This tie is so strong. ये छापक छौलिया का एक लंबा प्रसंग है. मुझे सब याद नहीं, 2-4 पंक्तियां मैंने जो जेहन में आई मैंने आपके लिए नोट किया. सीता says, look at the end of it, कैसे इनका यहाँ होगा सब कुछ. And then someone from the forest, some woman says, चिंता मत करो, सोने वाले छुरी से नहीं होगा लेकिन बांस की छुरी से होगा. And I will do that. And what does she say? संदेश देना, रोचना. बहुत सारे लोगों के ज़हन में रोचना शब्द होना चाहिए. नई पीढ़ी में ना हो तो उसको याद रखना चाहिए. रोचना भेजना, सेंडिंग दिस मैसेज. तो रोचना कहाँ कहाँ भिजवाना? सीता सेज, you parrot, you are my brother and you have to send the message. तो किसको किसको दोगे? कौशल्या माता को दोगे, दशरथ को दोगे, जनकपुर में दोगे. लक्ष्मण को बताओगे, राम को नहीं बताना. राम को नहीं बताना है. ये रोष का भाव है. And when he grows, the children grow, she says, पूता लाई हृदया तुम्हें पलबे, रमैया से बढ़ाई राखब हो. I'll grow you in such a way that you will become greater than Ram. लोक में कहाँ है? I'm thankful to Dr. Shyam Sundar Dubey ji, whom I could hear long way back, and he presented it in such a way that the thing remained. कहीं पर देखा है यहाँ पर सीता ने अपने बच्चों को शिक्षा दी तो सभी जानते हैं. और कैसी शिक्षा दी? कालिदास को पढ़िए तब पता चल जाएगा. रघुवंश में, वाल्मीकि को में तो नहीं पता चलेगा, वो युद्ध वहाँ नहीं होता है. बट एट अदर प्लेसेस, भवभूति में इतने विराट रूप में, that they defeat the whole army of Ayodhya. भरत, लक्ष्मण, शत्रुघ्न सारे परास्त. एंड देन राम कम्स. वो 2 बच्चे कौन से हैं? and they are ready to go and to use the arrow, and then Sita, अरे इनसे लड़ोगे, ये तुम्हारे पिता है. The recognition. अभिज्ञान शाकुंतल शब्द जो कहते हैं अभिज्ञान, recognizing, cognition and recognition. There is just one temple, very small temple in Pushkar, thanks to आचार्य श्याम सुंदर जी. उन्होंने ये समझाया कि वहाँ पर पुष्कर तीर्थ में जो कुंड है उसमें एक बहुत छोटा सा मंदिर है, छोटा बहुत, वहाँ 70-72 मंदिर होंगे. It was just because of that I could visit that place. हम सब जानते हैं ब्रह्मा का मंदिर केवल एक है और कहीं मंदिर बना ही नहीं. Why? Anyone? लोग कैसे रिस्पॉन्ड करता है? One who created and one can have a bad eye on the same creation. अपनी पुत्री और उस पर गलत निगाह. And Shiva cuts his head. और बनारस में उनको मुक्ति मिलती है. उस ब्रह्मा का सिर है तो त्रिशूल से बिंदु माधव, बिंदु सरोवर, उस जगह पर जब वो त्रिशूल लगते हैं, धोते हैं, वहां गिर जाता है, इसलिए वो पवित्र होता है. How this has been passed down to us. In our folk, when we think of this, we should also think how this has been passed on to us. We talk of feminism. I keep on repeating this thing wherever I get a chance. We think of single mothers now. The problems is the openness, the freedom, because in all these relations women suffer more. Nature has done injustice to them. They are made mothers, even though they are glorified in so many ways in our tradition. Where is that kind of mother? मुझे तो कोई दूसरी माँ दिखी ही नहीं वैसी जिसने इतने कष्ट में रहा और अपने बच्चों को ऐसा पाला हो. And no one ever in any creative writing or critical writing talks about this aspect of Sita. People have, our tradition has not left it unsaid. ऐसा नहीं सवाल से लड़े नहीं उससे. मैंने कालिदास का जिक्र किया, रघुवंश में कहती जाके एक शब्द केवल बस, वाचस्पयामत वचनात् स राजा. राजा रहे राम, पति नहीं रहे. I am reminded of yet another two lines. I am sorry for not being able to be worthy enough to get that, and the person is no more now. मैं बहुत छोटा था, 8वीं या 9वीं में था. राजस्थान से ही कोई 2 लोग आए थे, 2 कवि थे, मेरे बाबा जी के मित्र थे और अयोध्या आए. जाड़ी की सीजन थी और वो कुछ नया लिख रहे थे खंडकाव्य सीता को लेकर. और प्रसंग वही है कि सीता, खंडकाव्य तो अचानक शुरू होते हैं किसी बिंदु से, छोटा हिस्सा. तो सीता वन में चली गई है और एक नीलनी है जो सवाल पूछ रही है और सीता से जवाब बन ही नहीं रहा, कविता आगे नहीं बढ़ रही. वो 2 लाइन ही मैंने सुनी और उसके बाद मैं भगा दिया गया वहां से. मैं जाड़े की सीजन थी, मटर छौंक करके और चाय मैंने पहुंचाया, चुपचाप सुन रहा था. लगा कुछ बढ़िया बोल रहे हैं, कुछ और हंसी मजाक हो रहा था. 8वें 9वें का बच्चा कितना समझेगा. लेकिन उन्होंने कहा भीलनी वो सवाल पूछ रही है, एक साथ रहे सुख और दुख में, पति और पत्नी असवेद बताए. तू बन गए तो तू बन गए. ये बनारस तक आते आते भोजपुरी बदल गया, राजस्थानी में था तो मुझे भूल गई है. तू बन आयलू काहे ना आयलू. राजस धर्म निभायो भले, पत्नी व्रत धर्म उनाय निभायो. 4 लाइन थी, 1 लाइन और नहीं याद आ रही है. और मुझे कहा तुम खड़े खड़े क्या सुन रहे हो. और बाद में मैंने पूछा कि ये उन्होंने सुनाया था कि क्या हुआ. उन 3 लोगों में से अभी तो एक जीवित है, किसी को कुछ याद ही नहीं पड़ रहा है कि ऐसा हुआ. मैं कोई कभी हूं ही नहीं. ये मैंने सुना. हमने कहा और आगे जो है the answer is no, because it's difficult to answer. The question is difficult and our tradition makes us ask questions openly. If the questions are genuine, it is not necessary to get the perfect answers. The answer is never perfect. Each generation has to find out answer for themselves. So she says, पूता लाई हृदया तुम्हें पलबे, पलकिया बीच रखबे, पूता तब तुम्हें ललना बुलेबे, अयोध्या जीत लागो. When you win Ayodhya, then I will call you my son. I am reminded of Valmiki, where Sita says, हनुमान जी पहुंच जाते हैं लेने के लिए, उसके बाद उनको लगता है कि मैं इनको ले, आसान है, बड़ा लंबा सा चैप्टर 26वां या 37वां चैप्टर 37वां है, जिसमें वो कहते हैं मैं आपको लेकर के चले चलते हूँ. Then सीता says, नहीं, इतने यहाँ राक्षस हैं, इतने ताकतवर हैं, और मैं पीठ पर बैठ जाऊंगी तो तुम्हारी ताकत तो आधी हो जाएगी, लड़ोगे कैसे? और दूसरे, तुम पर पुरुष हो, इस नाते मैं नहीं बैठूंगी. और फिर कहती है, अरे तो उसने मैंने पुत्र कह दिया, पुत्र का भी एक धर्म है, माँ बेटे से ऐसा नहीं कह सकती कि नहीं बैठूंगी, साथ नहीं हो. जैसे बेटा कहा वैसे वो पर पुरुष वाला भाव खत्म, माँ कहा वो भाव खत्म, ये हमारा लोक है. तब तुरंत तीसरा आंसर वो दे देती है, तब तस्य सदृशम भवे. जो हमारा लोक कह रहा है, पता नहीं किसने लिखा ये छापक चूलिया में, वहां वो कहते हैं यद रामो दशग्रीवम इह हत्वा सराक्षसम मामितो गृह्य गच्छेत तत्तस्य सदृशम भवेत्. तत्तस्य सदृशम भवेत्. राम आए, राक्षसों सहित रावण का वध करें और तब मुझे लेकर के जाएं, उनकी कीर्ति इसी में होगी. I am thankful to the organizers of the seminar for giving me this opportunity to be part of this larger family. I am blessed to be here with our teacher Sushila ji and Professor Shukla ji. मेरे पिताजी ने भी आपको प्रणाम कहा, मैं पब्लिकली कह दे रहा हूँ. वो मिले हैं आपसे कहीं शायद किसी ऐसे ही समूह में, जब मैंने कहा कि मैं सर का दर्शन मैं आज करूंगा. मैंने किताबें पढ़ी हैं, कविताएं पढ़ी हैं, but I will be seeing him for the first time here. There is one thing more with which 2 मिनट और 2 मिनट और लोग, we talk about our lok, in a few words we are able to convey the social relationship. बाबा कहें बेटी नियरे भी अइबे, माई कहें 10 कोस, भैया कहें बहनी काशी भी अइबे, भौजी कहें वैदेश. 2 lines. बाबा कहें बेटी नित उठ अनिबे, माई कहें छठ मास, भैया कहें बहनी काज परोसन, काज परोजन, भौजी कहें किस बात, अब तुम गई अपने घर रहो. This kind of relationship between the family. So man has put it in the right tone by placing this thing that ask questions. Don't hesitate in asking questions, but ask right questions. अपने यहाँ तो प्रश्नोपनिषद भी है, हर उपनिषद प्रश्न का उत्तर ही है. पहला ग्रंथ नाट्यशास्त्र प्रश्न का उत्तर ही है, उन्हीं 5 का. And we should remember that the time we start, and I have highlighted that image. So, man directs the puppet theatre, Hatu puppet theatre. We are all puppets in the hands of the Almighty, whatever his or her gender is. And we don't look at, and when we look at that, we also notice that there are manifestations of that one power, genderless. कहते हैं बिना डायलॉग के वो बोर हो रहे थे तो उन्होंने अपने को 2 में बांटा, दाएं और बाएं से 2 निकले, वो पति और पत्नी हो गए एक ही रूट से. I stop here. हरि अनंत हरि कथा अनंता. Thank you all for giving me this opportunity, and think about our tradition, our rootedness, our relation with our past. When we say our past, this is very big one. हमारी मेमोरी 5000 साल पीछे तक जाती है. जाना चाहिए, नहीं जाती है तो उस मेमोरी में खोट है, और मेमोरी में खोट है तो वो नाश का प्रतीक है. कहते हैं स्मृति भ्रंशो कि नाशा. अगर मेमोरी चली गई तो समझिए सब गया. So our memory should go back to that ancient big chunk. वो AD और BC में फंस के नहीं रह जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि हमारा there are so many things, and it is a continued journey which has kept on enriching us like Ganga. It has to go on and on and on. कितने बांध बनाओ रुकेगी नहीं. Our existence and search for meaning should also be in that way. Thank you all.
Reminded of our MA classes while you were speaking. We are now towards the end of the inaugural session, and before we finally disperse for a 5-minute tea break, already people are provided with a refreshment. I humbly request Professor Manjari Junjunwala, our Manjari Ji, Head Department of English, Vasanta College for Women, to please come forward and offer a formal vote of thanks.
Here, a formal vote of thanks to the august gathering present here in the inaugural session of 2-day National Seminar on Folklores of India, Texts and Contexts under the Aegis of Azadi ka Amrit Mahotsav. I extend my thankfulness to the Department of Music for melodious rendering of College Kulgi. I express my sincere gratitude to the Principal, Professor Alka Singh, to have given impetus to the very idea and to its full execution, ma'am. Ma'am, you are always a spring of happiness to all of us. Thank you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Anupama Hoskare for delivering the keynote address on the occasion. Thank you so much, ma'am. We are overwhelmed by your presence, ma'am. It's again a proud moment for me and my department to have Professor Shushila Singh, ma'am, Professor Emeritus, Varanasi University, as guest of honor on the day. Ma'am is our teacher and mentor and has always blessed us whenever we have organized any tiny activity. Ma'am, we are quite thankful to you. I take this opportunity to express my sincere thankfulness to Professor K. Pandey sir, Head Department of English, Varanasi University, for giving his significant presidential remarks in the inaugural of the seminar. I also would like to thank Indian Council of Social Science Research for sponsoring this 2-day national seminar. Next, I humbly thank all the respected scholars, Shri Priya Shukla sir, Dr. Sucharita Gupta ma'am, Dr. Shantanu Banerjee, Professor Saroj Kumar Mahananda, Professor Veena Singh ma'am, for gracing the occasion. I thank the coordinator IQAC, Professor Seema Srivastava ma'am, for giving her consent to organize this event under IQAC. I thank all my senior and junior colleagues who are present in the hall to encourage us. I also thank my dear students of BA and MA who have actively participated in this 2-day national seminar. I thank the office and all the support staff for their in-season efforts to make this event possible. I thank press and media persons for the coverage of the event. At the end, I would like to thank the convener of the seminar, Dr. Saurabh Kumar Singh, for delving deep into the folklores of India and then presenting before us this idea of 2-day national seminar, where many scholars have now gathered to give their rich deliberations. Saurabh, I wish you all success ahead. I would appreciate thank and bless my trio, Dr. Sunita, Dr. Rachna Pandey, Dr. Manjari Shukla, for their day and night efforts to make this event actually possible. I thank one and all who have been part of this 2-day national seminar on folklores of India. Thank you all.
Manjari. Now we shall be taking a Kit Kat break of 10 minutes so that you all finish your refreshments, and then we will proceed to the plenary session. So enjoy your refreshments and we shall be meeting just in 10 minutes.
To start the plenary session, I would like to request Professor Manjari Jhunjhunwala ma'am, Head Department of English, Vasanta College for Women, and Dr. Saurabh Singh, convener of this seminar, to please come and felicitate our guest.
Thank you so much.
आगे उधर देखना कैमरा उधर है
पिघलते लम्हे, written by Professor Veena Singh.
बहुत auspicious day भी तो है. That's why I chosen the 4th of November. अरे वाह, आपने नहीं आते. ये बड़ी खुशी होगी.
मेरी कोशिश है और मैं
Thank you, Professor K. Pandey sir. This plenary session, Professor Veena Singh ma'am, who was a former head Department of English, Vasanta Mahavidyalaya, Varanasi, and a very well-known poet. At present, she is the president of Kashi Tattva Sabha, Theosophical Society, Indian section, Varanasi. Ma'am has taught English literature and language for 4 decades, and having credit of publishing 8 books on literature and anthologies of poems. She has received several national and international awards and recognition for her service to literature and humanity. Ma'am, I welcome you on behalf of the organizing team, department and our institution. Now I would like to welcome and introduce our first speaker, Shri Prayag Shuklaji, who is a poet, fiction writer, essayist, art critic, curator and an editor. He has about 50 books to his credit and was in the editorial board of Kalpana, based in Hyderabad, Dinaman and Now Bharat Times, publications of Times of India Group. He is the founding editor of the Academy, and he was also the editor of 2 inaugural issues of Samkaleen Kala, Journal of Lalit Kala Academy. He has written the biography of celebrated artist J. Swaminathan, and a new book on M.F. Hussain is to be launched. He has also curated exhibitions with the title Drawing 94 and Drawing 2050 for Galleries is Drawings of Ram Kumar, Tribute to J. Swaminathan and Plums and Wings, and to name I invite you, sir, to deliver your talk on the topic Lok Kala Ki Pagdandiya. Prayag sir.
I would call it presentation, क्योंकि वो बोल रही थी और लग रहा था कि हम सब देख रहे हैं इतना अनुभव. उसके बाद इतने लोग बोले, अलका जी बोली, पांडे जी बोले और कई लोगों के विचार हमने सुने. ऐसे में खाली ये औपचारिकता नहीं है, ये फॉर्मेलिटी नहीं कि मैं कह रहा हूँ कि इसके पे क्या बचता है, क्योंकि इतना ज़्यादा एक तरह की ब्रेन स्टॉर्मिंग हो चुकी है और यही उद्देश्य मेरे ख्याल में सेमिनार्स का होना चाहिए. विषय से पूछिए तो बहुत बड़ा है, हमारे देश इतना ही बड़ा है। और मैं उन भाग्यशाली लोगों में हूँ, लक्षद्वीप और लद्दाख को छोड़कर मैंने भारत का हर अंचल देखा। बहुत कम लोगों को ये नसीब होता है, ऐसा मैं जानता हूँ। और केवल देखा ही नहीं है, उन अंचलों में जो आधुनिक है, जो नागरिक है, जो लोग है, उसके साथ रहा। अभी हमारे सुबह सौरभ जी ने रतन खियाम जी का नाम लिया, वो एक नाम है। इम्फाल में उनके साथ में 2 बार 2 सप्ताह रहा, फिर 1 सप्ताह रहा खजुराहो में। तो ये जो अवसर मिले जानने के, सीखने के, सोचने के, वो मेरे जीवन में सचमुच अनंत रहे हैं। और ये भी लगता है कि वो समाप्त ही नहीं हो रही, क्योंकि फिर से दोहराऊंगा कि देश इतना बड़ा, इतनी चीज़ें याद आने लगती हैं। अभी देखिए, बैठे बैठे पता नहीं मैं क्या क्या सोच गया, सबको सुन रहा था और मेरा मन जैसा कि किसी भी श्रोता के साथ होता है, वो कहाँ कहाँ चला जा रहा है। काशी की बात हुई तो लगा अरे इससे बड़ा लोक क्या होगा स्वयं काशी में, शास्त्र तो है ही काशी में। और आपको बताऊं, मैंने कल्पना पत्रिका का, जिसका मैं 23 वर्ष की उम्र में संपादक मंडल में था, मेरा भाग्य। बद्री विशाल व्यक्ति जिसके संचालक थे, संपादक थे, उनको लगा था अपने जीवन काल में कि एक कल्पना का काशी अंत निकले। कल्पना बंद हो गई और उस इच्छा को उनके पुत्र ने मुझ तक पहुँचाया कि तो आप जानते हो कि ऐसी इच्छा थी, आप इसको निकाल। तो कल्पना काशी एक निकला, उसको अपने जीवन का मैं सबसे अच्छा काम मानता हूँ। यहाँ आया, बहुत लोगों को मिला, किताबें खरीदी, राय आनंद कृष्ण जी की बहुत याद आती है, कृष्णनाथ जी की याद आती है जो यहाँ के थे, यहाँ रहे थे काशी विद्यापीठ में। और राजदास जी के बारे में सोचता हूँ, जिनसे कभी भेंट नहीं हुई, लेकिन भारतीय कला जगत को उनका योगदान पता है। दूसरा देखिए, हाँ ये बात मैंने क्यों याद की, हिंदी के एक बड़े लेखक श्रीलाल शुक्ल, राज दरबारी के लेखक, जब उनको कल्पना काशी की प्रति मिली तो उन्होंने कहा कि एक कार्ड मुझे लिखा, उन्होंने संभाल कर रखा कि तुमने बहुत सुंदर ये काम किया है, लेकिन जरा शास्त्र पर कम है। कल काशी का जो वैचारिक लोक रहा है उस पर कम है, लेकिन जो भी है बहुत है। तो उनकी बात आज याद आई और फिर ये याद आई, तुलसीदास, वाल्मीकि रामायण थी, पर तुलसीदास ने वो रघुनाथ गाथा लोक के लिए, लोक को ध्यान में रख लिया। कि जो लोक और नागर का संबंध है, ये मुझे बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है। आप देखो तो ये सदियों से चला आ रहा है, कितने प्रसंग हमको मिलते हैं पुराणों में, राजाओं के, उनके जीवन के, कि कोई चीज़ कहीं से चलकर आती है और नागर हो जाती है। और वो कहाँ से आती है? वो वनांचलों से आती है। शकुंतला कहाँ थी? राजमहल में घुसती है, और जिनके बीच में है वहाँ हिरण है, वहाँ पर वहाँ पक्षी है, वे दूसरी दुनिया। खुद राम और सीता देखिए बार बार याद किया गया कि वो लोक में भी है, वनांचल में भी है, आदिवासियों के बीच में भी है, और अयोध्या में तो है ही, नगरी है। तो इतनी चीजें इस देश की। अब मैं क्यों इतनी करता रहा, इतनी यात्राएं मैं अभी भी कर रहा हूँ, क्यों कर रहा हूँ? तो कहीं भी जाता हूँ तो लगता है कि जीवन में थोड़ी सी तृप्ति और आई, कुछ और मिला जो मैं नहीं जानता, जो मैंने नहीं देखा, क्योंकि देखने को इतना आनंद है इस देश में। बहुत सुंदर, इससे पहले वाला जो शुभारंभ के समय का जो चित्र था बहुत सुंदर था, और सौरभ को और अलका जी को और जो इससे संबंधित हैं सेमिनार से उनको बधाई देता हूँ कि उन्होंने वो सोचा कि वो एक उसमें देखे क्या था, वृक्ष था, चिड़िया थी और सूर्य था। मेरी कविता पांडे जी ने कृपापूर्वक पढ़ी, उसमें भी सूर्य है, चंद्र है, बादल है, आकाश है, नेचर, प्रकृति। तो सारी बात असल में मेरे ख्याल में तो वहां जाकर टिकती है कि प्रकृति है और प्रकृति लोक की है, वो नागर की इतनी नहीं हो पाती। आज जिस दिल्ली में मैं रहता हूँ और जिस बनारस में आप रहते हो, आप भाग्यशाली हो, मैं उतना भाग्यशाली नहीं रहा, क्योंकि दिल्ली की हवा वो जहरीली हो चुकी है। सारे शहरों की यही हालत होती जा रही है कि वहां पर सांस लेना मुश्किल होता जा रहा है। धीरे धीरे हमारे छोटे शहर, मझोले शहर, वो भी उसी ओर बढ़ रहे हैं। तो लोग जो प्रकृति, मैं उसको सब कुछ यही मानता हूँ, इसीलिए मैंने लोक कला की पगडंडियां शीर्षक रखा। तो इसलिए कि आप देखो तो लोक कला की पगडंडियां क्यों, क्योंकि वही प्रकृति तक ले जाती है। पगडंडियां ही आपको प्रकृति तक ले जाती है, राजमार्ग नहीं ले जाती। जैसे जैसे आप प्रवेश करते हो किसी वन में, गांव की भी पगडंडियां। मेरा जन्म कलकत्ता में हुआ, मैं वहाँ बड़ा हुआ, 22 साल उम्र तक वहाँ रहा। गांव मैंने बीच में देखा था, जब हम गांव भेज दिए गए थे, तो यही उत्तर प्रदेश के गांव में फतेहपुर नाम के जिले में, जहाँ मैं 4 साल रहा। तो कलकत्ता में दंगे हुए थे और मेरे पिता को लगा कि इन बच्चों को मैं गाँव भेज दूँ। वो मेरे जीवन के बहुत सुखी वर्ष थे, वो मेरे जीवन का आधार बने कि वो पशु पक्षी, वो हर श्रृंगार, वो पगडंडियों कहीं से कहीं पहुंचाना और सब कुछ सुनना। जब से सौरभ जी ने मुझे विषय दिया, पता नहीं क्या क्या याद आने लगा कि मैंने बचपन में क्या देखा, रामलीला देखी, मैंने इनको सुना, मैंने लोकगीत सुने, मैंने पढ़ा, मैं जहाँ विभिन्न अंचलों में गया, मैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट के भी सारे स्टेट्स में गया, तो और वहाँ का भी जीवन देखा, वहाँ की प्रकृति भी देखी। तो लगता है कि किधर और बढ़ो तो अपनी बात पूरी। लोक का अर्थ इतना मैंने समझा वो ये है कि लोक और लोक की संपदा। फोकलोर क्या है? फोकलोर का अर्थ है लोक की संपदा, और बहुत सुंदर शीर्षक रखा है तो सौरभ ने बहुत सोच कर टेक्स्ट से कॉन्टेक्स्ट भी मिल जाना कि पहले तो साहित्य है, चाहे वो लिखित है, वो लोक का है, वो लोकगीत है और जो भी है, और फिर उसको कॉन्टेक्स्ट हमारी कठपुतलियों को लेकर जो स्ट्रेज जैसे लोग जो काम करते हैं, उनसे मेरी बात हो रही थी तो बहुत कुछ याद आने लगा, क्योंकि मेरे भाग्य में ये भी रहा है कि अब आप सोचो तो ये बात समझ में भी आ गई थी और आज तक आती है। तो उसको कहना चाहता हूँ युवा लोगों से कि जितना ही आप कलाओं में उतरोगे, विभिन्न कलाओं में, उतना ही आप जीवन का आनंद उठा पाओगे, उतना ही देश को भी आप समझ पाओगे। मेरे साथ क्या हुआ अभी देखिए, 3 पत्रिकाओं का जिक्र हो चुका है। रंग प्रसंग, राष्ट्रीय नाट्य विद्यालय जैसे संस्था की पत्रिका निकाली हिंदी में। संगीत नाटक अकादमी में मुझे ले गए रतन जी, उन्होंने कहा कि आपने छोड़ा है यूनिवर्सिटी, आप हमारे साथ चलो, वहाँ की पत्रिका निकलवा दो। 60 साल से अंग्रेजी में तो है और हिंदी में नहीं है, ललित कला की पत्रिका निकल। ये मैं क्यों याद कर रहा हूँ? अपनी प्रशंसा में नहीं, अपने संतोष के लिए भी नहीं, क्योंकि ये सब काम करने के बाद लगता है कि हमने क्या किया। इस देश में काम करने वाले जो लोग रहे हैं अपने अपने क्षेत्र के, वो सब महासमुद्र है। आप लहरें गिनते रह जाओगे और वहां नहीं पहुंच पाओगे। वो कालिदास हो, भवभूति हो, विनोगुप्त हो, संस्कृत के बाकी नाटककार हो, हमारी भारतीय भाषाओं के लोग हो, रविंद्रनाथ। मैंने रविन्द्रनाथ की गीतांजलि की, मैंने उनके 300 गीत किए, पर मैं कहाँ जानता हूँ रविन्द्रनाथ को। इतने उपन्यास, इतनी कहानियाँ, एक बड़ा भारी समुद्र, इतने पत्र हजारों की संख्या में, उनके जीवन की तमाम चीज़ें पर जानने की कोशिश की है। कोशिश इसीलिए की है कि भरा पूरा महसूस करूँ। भरा पूरापन कहाँ से आता है? वो इन्हीं संयोगों से आता है। आज बैठे बैठे मुझे बहुत पुरानी याद आ रही थी दिनमान के दिनों की। मैं दिनमान से मैंने जीवन शुरू किया था गे के साथ। अब गे का नाम आप जानते हो, मेरा दूसरा बड़ा भाग्य कि उन जैसे व्यक्ति के साथ जीवन शुरू किया जिनकी स्वयं इन सब चीज़ों में दिलचस्पी थी और हम तक भी आई। तो पधारो हमारे देश, अल्लाह ही जलाई, उनको सुना, कालबेलिया देखा, उत्तर हमारे दक्षिण भारत के सारे शास्त्रीय नृत्य देखे हैं। लोग जिसकी बात अनुपमा जी ने की, यक्षगान, शिवराम कारंत जी ने जिसको लाए और उसको प्रतिष्ठित कर दिया एक शास्त्र की, सब देखा। इतना कुछ लेकिन देखने को बाकी, कितना कुछ घट रहा है। उस जो घट रहा है तो उसकी ओर जाना चाहता हूँ। अभी दिल्ली में एक प्रदर्शनी में गोंड कला, लोग ही लोग आदिवासी, हम लोग हिंदी में लोग फोक और ट्राइबल को मिलाकर ही देखते हैं। तो वहाँ से हम उसको देखने गया और मैं मुग्ध हो गया। और कब से देख रहा हूँ? 1980 से, जब स्वामीनाथन जी भारत भवन बना रहे और जिसमें मैं भी शामिल था उनके साथ यात्राएं कर रहा था। 15 दिन घूमा था, बस्तर के इलाकों में गया था, उनके विचार सुने थे। उनका विचार ये था कि ये भी तो हमारे भाई हैं। ये जो लोग आदिवासी हैं, ये क्या हमसे दूर के हैं? और कितना सुंदर काम कर रहे हैं। आधुनिक कलाकार जो थे उनको इस तरह आपत्ति हुई। स्वामीनाथन ये चाह रहे थे कि भारत भवन बने और लोग आदिवासी कलाकारों का काम और हुसैन का काम, एक तरफ भूरी बाई हो, एक तरफ जंगल हो, एक तरफ कृष्ण खन्ना हो, एक तरफ हुसैन, साथ साथ हो। उस समय लोग तैयार नहीं हुए, लेकिन फिर भी 2 गीत तो बने रूपंकर के। कभी भोपाल आपने शायद देखा हो, न देखा हो तो देखिएगा, वो देखने लायक। तो रूपंकर के 2 हिस्से उन्होंने बनाए, एक लोक आदिवासी कला का और एक आधुनिक नागर कला, समकालीन कला। तो ये जो चीज घटित हो रही है हमारे यहाँ सदियों से, और जिसके ये आधुनिक रूप प्रकार प्रकट हो रहे हैं, कि वो भी तो आधुनिक है। अब सच पूछिए तो इसको अलगाना आ रहा कुछ का, बस एक पहचान लेकिन लोग की कभी नहीं अलगाई जाएगी, वो बनी रहेगी बराबर। वो परिभाषा नहीं बदल सकती। वो परिभाषा ये है लोग जिसमें सब सम्मिलित है। कोई नाटक हो रहा है, कोई संगीत हो रहा है, कोई चित्रकला हो रही है, प्रदर्शनी हो रही है, बताना ना पड़े, इसका अर्थ समझो। कभी मैंने नहीं देखा गांव में आदिवासियों के बीच कोई चीज गाई जा रही है, बजाई जा रही है, उसका अर्थ उनको बताना पड़ा। तीजन बाई जहाँ की थी, तो अब आप देखो गाती थी महाभारत, सुना उनको एक बार। तो उनको छत्तीसगढ़ में या हमारे हबीब रणवीर साहब, जब उन्होंने वहाँ के लोक कलाकारों के साथ काम करना शुरू किया, चोला माटी का, जिसको उनकी बेटी नगीन इतना सुंदर तरीके से गाती है, तो शहर में बताना पड़ता है, उसका परिचय देना पड़ता है। जहाँ की वो चीजें हैं, वो जो कठपुतलियाँ राजस्थान के गांव में थी, उनका शायद परिचय देना पड़े कि कहाँ से आई थी, कैसे बनी थी, किसने कला किया, उदयपुर में किसने बनाया, तो लेकिन वहाँ नहीं बताना। तो कोई ऐसी चीज जिसको देखने सुनने वाले उसका अर्थ न पूछे, where there are no questions, all of them are listening to a song, seeing a play or puppet or mime or anything, that's all. लेकिन अब एक उलझन हुई कि लोग को हमको शहरों में इंट्रोड्यूस करना पड़ता है और शहरों को लोक में इंट्रोड्यूस करना पड़ता है। पर कुछ बड़ी सुंदर चीजें भी घटित हो रही हैं। तो जो भूमि प्रदर्शनी की बात याद मैंने की, जैसे मैंने ये काम खरीदा, इतने पैसे तो नहीं होते, लेकिन इतना वो भाग गई एक पेंटिंग मुझे, और मेरी बेटी गोद ली हुई बेटी थी, उसको भी इतनी अच्छी लगी, तो हमने कहा चलो मैं खरीद लेते हैं, भले इंस्टॉलमेंट में देना पड़े। तो वो काम कर रहे हैं और शहरी कलाकारों के बराबर आकर खड़े होते हैं। और शहरी कलाकार, उनको भी भले पहले उन्होंने कहा वो कि हम लोक में क्यों जाएं, हम उनसे तो हम अलग हैं। भारतीय चित्रकला का चेहरा बदल गया। अय्यर मेहता जिनका नाम आपने सुना होगा, जब वो शांति निकेतन जाते हैं और संथालों के बीच जाते हैं, उनका काम बिल्कुल बदल जाता है। वो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय ख्याति के चित्रकार हो जाते हैं। वो जो स्पर्श मिलता है, तो जो लोक का स्पर्श ये होना चाहिए। लोक का स्पर्श मिलता है तो रोमांच होता है। कौन बिरिस्तर बीजत हुई हैं, राम लखन दो भाई, बन को निकल गए दो भाई। ये पंक्ति जीवन में नहीं भूली, न कभी भूलेगी। साधारण सी बात कही जा रही है, राम लक्ष्मण दो भाई हैं, तो बन को निकल गए। कौन बिरिस्तर बीजत हुई, किस वृक्ष के नीचे वो भीग रहे हैं, इसकी कल्पना कभी देखी। कौन बिरिस्तर बीजत हुई है, राम लखन दो भाई, बन को निकल गए। तो ये रोमांच उनको क्यों चाहिए? और लोग ने क्या किया? लोग आपको नेचर के साथ रखा। आज ही जिन गौण कलाकारों की बात मैंने की है, और जंगल का तो आपने नाम सुना ही होगा, जिसकी बहुत एक दुखद मृत्यु हुई, पता नहीं आत्महत्या थी कि चौर था, जापान में नहीं रहा। उसको किशोरावस्था से देखा है। जब वो आया था भोपाल में, हमारी भेंट होती थी, और जब स्वामीनाथन की देख रेख में वो काम कर रहा था, और फिर बाद में उसकी प्रदर्शनी कहाँ होती है? पाम्पुदी सेंटर में, फ्रांस में, पेरिस में। वो अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कलाकार बन जाता है, एक आदिवासी लड़का।